telling our people.
Here we are. Guys.
How do we know if people are actually like...
We have no idea.
They're telling them, but are they listening?
That's right. They're not listening yet.
All right, well, it says you're starting.
That's right. I think
so anyhow, well, whoever's paying attention, even if no one...
That's right.
We're here. Gosh,
Finally!
It is good to be back with your two favorite realtors.
On the internet. That's exactly right.
We got someone jumping in here.
Right.
Awesome.
Boom.
I am Sandy Roberts alongside
Bryant Lovett, everybody.
And it is so good to be back.
So good.
We took a hiatus. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
It's just what you need to do to make sure you're able to do something like this sustainably.
That's right.
And over the long term, which we don't plan to go anywhere because
we aren't going anywhere.
When you become everyone's two favorite,
that's right.
You really gotta stay the course.
You gotta keep showing up.
You gotta stay the course. So much has happened since we last got on here.
Yep.
But the goal today, if I can, is just to really grab a hold of market trends, market patterns, and make sure that you understand what we're understanding. Because the reality is, we're in this day in, day out, and we're trying to make sense of so much data.
That's right.
Which we do have a lot of access to,
yep.
But you're trying to make sense and kind of create storylines, narratives that we can understand, that we can share with you. So
that's right.
I think that's our goal today, is maybe share what conventionally people are thinking, and then Brian, you're going to bring home some stats to say what it actually is being said,
that's right.
what the market's saying.
That's right. That's a good way to put it. Because experience can sometimes be deceiving. It can be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if I could just kind of paint a broad stroke, this is September. Kids are back in school, which is awesome.
Yep.
College football is getting started. Temperatures are still freaking hot, but they are going to turn here soon. State fairs coming in college football. I mean, just everything.
A lot of things we all love.
A lot of good stuff coming. But what does that mean? Well, a lot of people think that the real estate market begins to slow down during this time.
That's right.
People have already settled in with families, school year typically. And that, people are kind of, I'm going to hold off and maybe not sell till later in the year, whether, job transitions or, this is just kind of generally a lull.
Yep.
Statistically speaking,
That's
or
right.
historically speaking,
That's right.
in the kind of the calendar
Yep.
year. And I think sometimes we think, well, how do is that true? Well, if you kind of took a cursory look, the Wake County Register of Deeds just came out this week and said that a median price in Wake County for real estate transactions, which you made a great point, includes commercial.
That's right.
Residential and commercial was down $19,000 from last month.
That's right.
And so that I think that put us in the 360s as opposed to the 380s.
That's right.
Which, you look at that and you're thinking, man, are things slowing down? Buyers have their fingers crossed, sellers are fretting, and of course, us here, we're just trying to make sense of it, And I think the reality is, well, Bryant, tell us what the reality is, because I don't know if honestly that's true. So Bryant, tell us, kind of just give us, let numbers dictate. I'm gonna make sure you're back on. Okay, good.
We're back on. We're back live.
That's what people may be thinking, but Bryant, what's the truth?
That's right. And so experience is important. So as we look at the data, we do see two narratives, and I think one of them, though not false, it is true. The average, the median sales price of residential transactions in the Triangle has in fact dropped $19,000 over the past, month. That's true, but experientially, for those that actually care about this from a residential standpoint, which we are in, residential real estate. So if you're in residential real estate, you're thinking about selling your house, maybe you start to panic because you see a headline that says things are falling.
Right.
Maybe you're a buyer and you're thinking, okay, things are falling, so maybe I've got a chance to come in at asking price, maybe even under asking price. If things are falling, I got a better chance. We need to be careful before we just jump into those perspectives without looking at more of the acute look, if you will. The acute look into the market, the residential market here in Wake County. That's where we do the bulk of our business is here in Wake County. We absolutely do business in the surrounding counties. But as you look at Wake County, the median price for a home in August over July did not go down.
It did not.
It did not go down. It went up. So when you look at that data, you go, wait a second, I'm looking at a median sales price in Wake County at $410 over July's at $407.5. We're getting our content from the TAR report. This is coming directly out of our MLS system. So when you look at this data, you go, wait a second, am I looking at a narrative that is based on actual data, but it's bringing me to maybe the wrong conclusion.
Yeah.
Okay. So I do want to make sure to state that we need to look at that really carefully. Average price per square foot went up drastically. It's now well over 200 from August to from July to August, where it was at $194 a square foot on average. So there's things that are happening that we just need to be aware of in the residential world, and not just the residential world, but here in our local market.
So Brian, let me just play that out real quick. So the conventional wisdom is things are slowing down, prices are dropping, meaning that things are maybe staying on market longer. You can come in under asking. But what I'm hearing you say is no, in fact, that's not the case.
That's right.
Things have actually gone above.
That's right.
Meaning that you still have to pay over.
That's right.
To get a home.
That's right. 91% of homes in August, 91% of homes in August
Drop it.
closed over asking price.
Yeah.
91%. So if you were looking at a home, 9 out of 10 times is a good way of saying that. 9 out of 10 times you are going to have to pay over their list price to get it.
Yeah.
That is what the data is saying. Now, September stats aren't with us yet. We happen to find ourselves in September, but as far as this data coming out regarding August, we haven't gone backwards. We have still pushed forward.
So I think, and that is so key for us to know, because as a buyer, we now got to still think, man, we might have to go over asking to we can't just look at it like we can go in or under.
That's right.
It a lot of times is still in that ballpark of no, we got to go over, and the question, of course, is always how much.
That's right.
Now here's the one thing. Let's flip this on its head a little bit.
Yeah.
Sellers are getting greedy. I mean that's opinion, and I'm gonna let you maybe hit some numbers to back that up.
That's right.
But I think what we're seeing experientially.
There we go.
Can't speak. But additionally, what we're seeing statistically is that things are not flying off the market like we have seen
That's exactly
historically this year.
That's right.
So I think we're starting to run into some issues where sellers are thinking, okay, I know this market is hot. I heard my neighbor say it was hot. I'm reading it on the, I go to WRAL, Zillow's telling me that, I live in the hottest zip code or whatever.
That's right.
So we're seeing just hot.
That's right.
So it's like, well, why shouldn't I max out my price point?
That's right.
Brian, why is this not the right way to strategize around listing when you want to sell your home?
Yeah, there's so much.
I
will
big
try
question.
to boil this down. It's a big question, but I'll try to boil this down as best I can, guys. When you have a market like ours, especially in the fall, I do have data in front of me that shows that the homes that are selling in 0 days or their first day on market is falling progressively. Mm-hmm. So back in June, it was at the height of the year. So June, everything was flying off. There was a much larger percentage of homes were selling in that first day. It's not the case anymore. I think it's somewhere around 20% of homes are actually selling over their first day on market. So you've got more and more homes. Only about 20% of the market is selling in that first day. So you've got a lot more homes right now in this market sitting more days on market.
Yeah.
The average is still 7 days on market. That is crazy fast.
Yep.
So yes, things are hot. I don't want to give the illusion that things aren't really hot to touch, but the amount of homes that are actually staying on market beyond that first day on market is increasing. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think that's indicative of the season.
Yeah.
Experientially, that's just data. That's just Wake County data. Experientially, you and I mean, our listings, we're seeing this, guys. I mean, we're doing our own sample size. We're testing our own sample sizes, and we're getting fewer showings and fewer offers on our listings. Now, I think a lot of that does have to do with what you're hitting on, which is seller greed. So we do need to be careful of that. If you think you can maximize your price for your house and therefore justify something that the data does not show,
Yep.
Statistically, you're actually sitting on the market on average 26 days in comparison to that average of 7 days if priced right. So that's really, really important. People need to take into account the fact that people still work within the realm of some form of logic when they're shopping for houses.
And so really thinking through that as a buyer is important to know, because some of these houses are overpriced. And so give it a few days. You might be able to see, might be able to go in and asking.
That's right.
And I think when people are at, what I'm saying, again, maybe just from experience in more recent past month is, the houses that are great in great locations and updates, they're still going first weekend, multiple offers, maybe in the 4 to 5 as opposed to 10 plus. But the ones that are overpriced, we may be able to pick them up after the first weekend. Maybe not under, but maybe right at to get them off the market, as opposed to getting into a bidding war. So I think things have slowed down a little bit in that regard because of the seller greed, and so it's able,
Now let me hit something that I've been using for years to depict this market, and it is not. Wow.
Yeah,
it is not.
bad.
My dog is loud. It has not changed. In all of my 11 years of real estate, this has not changed, guys. The fall brings out what we call the big fish buyers. And I've been saying this on social media. I've been saying this all over the place, but big fish buyers are real. So what we're seeing, and I'm pulling this with listing agents, I'm pulling this with buyer's agents. I am asking people, how many offers are you getting on your house? How many of them were kind of all together somewhat similar, and then how many of them really stood out? How many of them actually stood out? And more people are saying there was one buyer that came to the table that blew the rest out. We call those big fish buyers. And this is the market where we see big fish buyers. They're tired of losing all summer. They're tired of offering on houses. This is their last ditch effort. They're going to give it everything they've got. And they're tired. So we see big fish buyers in this market, and you may have fewer offers, but I think this data over asking price, this data where prices are still rising in August over July, I think it might have less to do with the number of buyers seeing your house and making offers on your house. I think it might have more to do
with these one-off.
Yes, the one-off or the two-offs, these large buyers that are coming to the table saying, everyone else might be bidding here, I'm going to bid here. And I think it's not necessarily a large number of folks that are all bidding in the same zip code. And by zip code, I mean just the same ballpark on price. So I don't know if that makes sense to people, but big fish buyers come out in this season. We see it every year. I've seen it for my entire career. It's something to watch for.
That's insightful. Guys, just dropping gems here on this Friday. Again, when we come back with only the best.
That's right.
So you definitely want to keep an eye out for what we got coming on. And then, Brian, next week, something I'd love to come back to just to kind of give us some fodder for next week is just the amount of small municipalities and land grabs that are happening around the Triangle and Wake County as we see some of these areas growing. I mean, every week I'm seeing companies from big, large tract builders buying up land outside in and around Wake County.
That's right.
With some intensity. So I want to come back there, but
that's right.
We've hit way too much goodness for you today, so we're going to leave you with this. Bryant and I both,
that's right,
Love It Properties and Sandy Roberts Realty are honored to support the 5K Sola Mini.
That's right.
Or Sola Mini 5K.
There you go.
Is that what it is?
I think it is.
It's something with we're running 5 kilometers.
The Sola 5K,
which is 3.1 miles.
That's right.
Tomorrow,
and we are so excited.
At Sola,
That's right.
to support John and Jeannie Luther and their family, as Jeannie is, of course, battling courageously ALS.
That's right.
And so we're so honored to be able to support and go out there and race. So we got a hilly 5K in North Raleigh.
That's right. Come out.
We're going to be
some
drinking
same day registrations,
some coffee.
That's right. And we're going to be doing it for a good cause.
Yeah.
And it should be a lot of fun, even just to spectate. But yeah, that's where we'll be.
Guys, it is so good to be back on. When the lights come on, you get our best.
That's right.
So, for your two favorite realtors on the internet, I'm Sandy Roberts.
Bryant Love It.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.
Guys, have a good one.